Hey everybody, it's Gregory Martire. In today's video, we're talking about the one thing that only 2% of real estate investors get right. Hey everybody, it's Gregory Martire, and welcome back to Living in Philadelphia, our epic YouTube channel where we put out a lot of great content every week about living, buying, selling, moving to, and investing in the Philadelphia area. We got you covered in the city and out of the city, New Jersey too. Today, we're talking about the most important thing that literally 98% of investors do not do. You ready for it? I hope you're listening. Here's the answer. Run the numbers. Do the math. There are endless sheets, endless Excel sheets, endless calculations you could do. You start Googling how to compute or how to calculate return on investment. There's ROI, there's cap rates. What is it we're looking at? So believe it or not, most investors don't run the numbers, or you get something what's called paralysis of analysis. You're not sure which numbers to run. I'm going to share with you today a simple formula that we use as investors and that we use with our investors, and that we share with our investors as well. So we're going to look at a few places and we'll check them out and see how we do. All right, let me share the screen. I picked out a few places and we could go over each one of them, running the numbers. Now, we're looking specifically at properties in Philadelphia. There's one right outside of Philadelphia, and we grabbed a couple of price points, but here it is. We keep it very simple. There are only about maybe a dozen things we look at. Besides the address, of course, we've got the price. Now, some investors do pay cash, but generally speaking, as an investment property, you're going to need at least 20% down. Sometimes you can get 15. If it's a second home, we can get you 10% down, but we're using 25% down in our calculation because we want to do a conservative depiction of what's going on. I did put 2 points in here because this day and age, investment properties are heavily feed. You're going to get punished for buying an investment property. But in all seriousness, I added a couple of points to the loan, again, to pad the thing, to make it look maybe worse than it really is, or just to give us kind of an idea. The lender may charge at least a point or two. Today's rate is right around 4.5%, could be as much as 5, could be a little over 5, depending. We want to look at the total amount of rents in. Next, the total principal and interest and taxes and insurance payment. Now, I do have insurance, should be right around $84 to $100 a month, depending on the property. Most of the residential properties are going to be in that realm. Even if it's a multi-unit, if it's just a single family, it should be on that lower side. Then I don't know if you're going to manage it yourself, but there's always about an approximate 10% management fee. The more properties you have, the less the management fee tends to be, but 10% is about average. Use a vacancy rate, and I put a bunch on here, really somewhere between 7 and 10%. A lot of people use 8, some people use 7. Some people say, no, it has to be 10. And some people, the national is right around 4%. So I like to use 7 or 8. So I'm going to keep it there. Are you paying water, sewer, trash, recycling? Some of those utilities are included in the taxes you pay in Philadelphia and in a lot of the boroughs and cities around. We are using an approximate amount, about $50 a month per unit. It could be as much as $100 a month per unit. So it's somewhere in this realm. Again, we're using conservative numbers. If it's a single family home, we usually advise to ask the tenants to pay for that instead of you having to pay for it. Repairs come in at around $50 per unit per month. Now, if you have a 2-unit, it's $100 a month. If you have a single family home, it's $50. Now, some investors will say you might want to be somewhere around 10% of the rent, and that's not necessarily a bad thing to use. We'll use somewhere in the middle, but for this calculation, we're using $50 per unit per month. Now we add up the total expenses. That's it. Total expenses gets added to the payment. And then finally, it says my total rents minus my total expenses. And there's my cash flow. Is it positive or is it negative? Now, there's some other little ancillary fees you may have. Rental licenses, depending on the city. Philadelphia runs right on and around about $20. Shouldn't be per year, but it's probably about $100 a year in Philadelphia. The average tends to be around $20 a year, depending on where you're looking, but we could use $100 a year for that. Lawn, snow, if it's a single family or a twin or a row home, if it's not a multi-unit situation, we're usually asking the tenants to do that, but it's an important consideration because it does have to get done. Now, if you have a multi-unit, maybe one of the tenants could do it. Maybe you have a maintenance guy come. So you could add to this list all the way down ad nauseum, but this is the core that most people don't do. It is very surprising. I know it maybe doesn't sound right, but it's true. So let's look at a few here. And I want to start with this one just because of the price point. Oh, I can move the screen perfectly. So I love this one. Great area of the city. The price is $99,000. I'm very frugal. My wife says I'm cheap, but hey, potato. So for $99,000, you get a 2-unit building. Now, the total amount of cash that you need to buy this property, 25% down using $99,000, you're going to pay 2 points and have a rate of 4.5. Well, what about the other closing costs? I do have a website here that I like to use, and it looks like we're having, let me just refresh my screen. Hopefully it'll come along. I'll give that a minute, but this closing cost calculator website is smartasset.com. Now we use part of our MLS system as well, but smartasset.com is hugely effective. And once that stops doing the death spin, I'll come back to it. So this gives you the total amount of closing costs that you're going to need, including transfer tax, including any points you're paying, including title insurance, including the deed preparation. So this is the total amount of cash you're going to need to buy this property. Now the total rents in, this happened to be a 2-unit building, each having 1 bedroom. On a conservative side, $700 per unit, you're going to bring it around $1,400, depending if you might do some repairs and the place is in pretty decent shape. So it really didn't need a ton of work. You might be able to get as much as $1,500. Let me go back to this. This has populated itself. So it's pretty easy to do. You just put in your city and the home price, down payment, we're doing 25%. Based on a mortgage amount of 75,000. I mean, you can see the cash needed here is around 30,000, and you can manipulate this as much as you want. I mean, this could get it as much or as little as you want, but I wasn't too far off. So it's 31,000, not exactly my amount, but you're close enough. And you do want to fill in some of these, the appraisal fee, as obvious, that's actually a little too low. And I could help you with some of these if you wanted to shoot me an email, we could set a time. But that's a great website for that. And it's free. Everyone, even El Cheapo here, can afford that. So we've got our rents coming in at $1,400, total principal and interest payment with the insurance being right around that amount. Well, how do we get to that point? Here's another free website. There's so many of these. We like this one the best. I say the home value, down payment, the loan amount. So right here, I kind of just make it simple. The loan amount is 75,000 and we're using that rate of 4.5. Total monthly payment, $663. Now property taxes are wrong. You have to put in the right amount, but you could work on that. Again, free. Works very well. So we've done that math for you. And it actually came in just under 510. So I round up, make it easy. Management fees. So 10%, there it is, $140. Vacancy rate of 7%. There it is, $98. Water, sewer, and trash per month. Now, I used $100 to be, again, on the conservative side, it's 2 units. Repairs is, again, $50 a month per unit. $100, adding up all these expenses, 140, 98. I hope we did that math right, and you can use this sheet to your advantage. And we add them up, and hopefully it comes out to $438. Yep. Now we add 438 to the amount of our payment equals $948. So $438 plus $510 for my mortgage payment, total of $948. My total expense here, total rents coming in, $1,400 minus $948 equals $452 positive cash flow. And folks, we got a winner chicken dinner all day long. This is a beautiful example of a property. All right, so let's go on maybe a little larger spectrum here. These are in the this is in the Frankfurt area of our fair city. This one here is a great looking one, and it's in the Temple University area. And a bunch of these are in Temple University, but we looked at this one recently. I mean, here it is, Diamond Street, beautiful location near Temple. There's your price, $449,000. Here is the math I need. Here's the amount of cash that you need to buy this property, 25% down. If you're putting more down, obviously you're going to need more cash, but minimally you will need $141,500. Here's how much the rents are coming in. This is my total principal and interest payment, including insurance, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. which we got from our friendly mortgage calculator here. How do I know I needed 141,500? Bam, that's smart asset. Again, pretty simple. We only got 3 websites up so far. Oh, and of course you have Living in Philadelphia channel up as well. Management fee, 10% of rents, 7% vacancy, water, sewer, trash. Now this is a 3-unit building. If you haven't figured it out, $50 per unit per month. Some people might want to pad this a little higher, and I do suggest you get a little higher than that, but this is a quick example of how we have to run the numbers, which literally most 98% of investors do not do. Total expenses from above, total expenses plus my mortgage payment is going to be $2,705, $4,120 of rents coming in, $2,705 going out. This is our positive cash flow for the month, folks. $1,415. You might be asking, well, okay, well, that's great. So you're making $500 a month. Well, how long is it going to take me to get my money back? And what's my ROI? What's the cap rate here? This is a pretty simple example, and we could do ROIs and we could do cap rates on another video, or I'd be glad to illustrate that if you wanted to send me an email or if you had a specific property. And I will pick out one more here. I do have a few others picked out in a similar little lower price point here. This is a great one in the Fox Chase area. Beautiful location for many reasons. Again, simple price. Here's our 25% down using our calculator of closing costs, total rents in. There's my principal and there's my mortgage payment, including taxes and insurance, 10% management fee, 7% coming down the line. Now, this is also a 3-unit. So here's my rents. Here's my income and expenses. Bam, my cash flow, $600 a month. And I do have calculated for management. I do have calculations for maintenance. So let me unshare my screen a moment. All right, so now I'm right back in your face. So if you wanted to have a copy of that Excel sheet that I was using, absolutely, we'll put a link to it in the comments below. Also, a link in the comments below will be for our home selling and our home buying guide. If you wanted me to elaborate on some of these properties or you want to take a tour of them, absolutely hit us up. Do appreciate you checking out the channel, and we would appreciate it even more if you would subscribe. If you found it useful, subscribe. If you didn't find this useful, subscribe. Hit us up with a comment. We do put out a lot of epic content here in the Philadelphia area every week. Gregory Martire, your local real estate investor, realtor, and friend, the ambassador to this city of brotherly love. Appreciate you taking the time, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.